A to Z Social Studies Class 8.
Chapter 10. A Journey Through Indian Architecture. Harappan Architecture, Urban. Planning. The earliest roots of Indian architecture trace back to the Harappan civilization around 2600 BCE. Excavations at Mohenjo-Daro and Dholavira reveal carefully planned cities, not random settlements. Streets followed a grid pattern, with main roads intersecting at right angles. Houses used baked bricks and featured private bathing areas, wells, and covered drains. Harappan architecture, Dholavira. Dholavira featured advanced stone-built reservoirs that stored rainwater for dry periods. It also included massive gateways and a fortified citadel. These cities show that Indian architecture began with practical, well-planned urban settlements. The focus was on sanitation and daily life rather than temples or palaces. Stupa architecture, origins and purpose. Buddhism's rise and Emperor Ashoka's patronage in the 3rd century BCE brought permanent stone stupas. These are sacred dome-shaped structures built over relics of the Buddha or monks. Devotees performed pradakshina by walking around them rather than entering. Early Buddhism used iconic symbols like the Bodhi tree and wheel instead of human forms. Stupa architecture, key components. Key components include the enda, dome, and harmika, railing. Other parts are the chhatra, umbrella spire, vedika, surrounding railing, and toranas, gateways. Gateways were richly carved to depict Jataka tales and Buddha's life. The Great Stupa at Sanchi and Bharhut are prime examples of this style. Rock-cut architecture, basics. Rock-cut architecture required carving entire structures from solid rock hills. This method demanded extraordinary planning because mistakes could not be corrected. It offered durability, insulation, and quiet spaces for meditation. Two major forms developed, the Chaitya prayer hall and the Vihara monastery. Rock-cut architecture, famous caves. The Udayagiri Khandagiri caves in Odisha represent early Jain examples. Ajanta caves in Maharashtra, carved between the 2nd century BCE and 6th century CE, feature detailed wall paintings and sculptures. Ellora caves uniquely house Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain monuments. The Kailasa temple at Ellora was carved top-down from a single rock mass under the Rashtrakutas. Water structures, Harappa to stepwells. India's monsoon-driven climate led to diverse water architecture. Harappan cities used stone reservoirs, private wells, and covered drains. In western India, stepwells, baolis, valves, provided water access, community space, and cooling shelter. The 11th century Rani Ki Vav in Gujarat is an intricately carved example of a stepwell. Water structures, temple tanks. In South India, temple tanks called pushkarnas served ritual bathing and storage needs. The geometrically designed pushkarni at Hampi is a notable example. Some sites featured interconnected tanks and channels for water purification and flood control. These structures reflect environmental awareness, technical skill, and community responsibility. Classical temple architecture, basics. Temples became active centers of worship following sacred geometry from texts called Shilpa Shastras. A temple's basic plan includes the Garbhagriha, sanctum, and mandapa, pillared hall. It also features a rising tower, Shikara in the north and Vimana in the south. South Indian temples additionally feature gopurams and prakara walls. Classical temple architecture, styles. Nagara is the North Indian style with a curved shikara and no large gateways. Dravida is the South Indian style with a pyramid vimana and massive gopurams. The Lingaraja temple represents the Nagara style, while the Brihadisvara temple represents the Dravida style. Regional variants include Bengal's terracotta temples and Rajasthan's marble-carved Dilwara temples. Architecture of mosques, features. From the 12th century, Islamic rule introduced a distinct Indo-Islamic architectural tradition. Mosques featured a courtyard, san, and a covered prayer hall. Essential elements included the mihrab, Mecca's direction, minbar, pulpit, and minarets. Islamic builders introduced true arches, domes, and minarets for larger enclosed spaces. Architecture of mosques, decoration and grandeur. Decoration avoided human and animal figures, focusing on geometric patterns and floral motifs. Other decorative elements included calligraphy and perforated jali screens. The Jama Masjid in Delhi, built under Shah Jahan, exemplifies Mughal mosque grandeur. Regional variations in Gujarat, Bengal, and the Deccan blended Islamic design with local craftsmanship. Forts and palaces, fortifications. Forts served defense while palaces served residence and ceremony. Forts were built on hilltops, riverbanks, or deserts. They featured massive walls, bastions, watchtowers, moats, and zigzag entrances to slow attackers. Agra Fort combined red sandstone defenses with refined inner palaces. Forts and palaces, living cities and palaces. Rajput forts like Chittorgarh and Jaisalmer functioned as entire living cities within their walls. Palaces emphasized courtyards, gardens, and water channels for comfort and display. The Orcha complex blends Rajput and Mughal styles. Mysuru Palace features a fusion of Hindu, Islamic, and European elements. Tombs and mausoleums, design elements. Funerary architecture peaked during Mughal rule, expressing memory, status, and spiritual symbolism. Mughal tombs typically featured a large central dome and a square or octagonal base. Designs included arched entrances and Sharbagh gardens divided by water channels. The Sharbagh layout symbolized a Quranic paradise. Tombs and mausoleums, iconic tombs. Humayun's tomb in the 16th century was among the first grand garden tombs. It successfully blended Persian influence with Indian craftsmanship. The Taj Mahal was built by Shah Jahan for Mumtaz Mahal. It represents the pinnacle of the tradition with white marble, pietra dura inlay, and perfect symmetry. Traditional houses, climate adaptation. Traditional houses developed according to local climate, materials, occupation, and social customs. In hot, dry Rajasthan, thick mud walls kept interiors cool alongside Jaroka balconies for airflow. In rainy Kerala, sloping tiled roof Nalaketu houses with central courtyards managed heavy rainfall. Layouts also reflected joint family systems and occupational needs. Traditional houses, courtyards and trade. Courtyard houses in northern and western India provided light, ventilation, and family gathering spaces. Chettinad houses in Tamil Nadu showcased grand courtyards and craftsmanship influenced by Southeast Asian trade. These designs demonstrate sustainable and climate-responsive principles. Such regional design principles remain relevant today. Churches in India, early history and Portuguese influence. Saint Thomas the Apostle reportedly brought Christianity to Kerala in the 1st century CE. Early Kerala churches used local wood and laterite with sloping roofs like traditional houses. Portuguese arrival in the 15th–16th centuries introduced European Renaissance and Baroque styles. Examples include St. Francis Church in Kochi and Goa's Basilica of Bom Jesus. Churches in India, British rule and Gothic style. Under British rule, Gothic-style churches appeared in cities like Kolkata and Mumbai. These churches featured pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and tall spires. Indian church architecture blends early adaptation and Portuguese influence. It also incorporates Gothic revival with local materials and climate considerations. Colonial architecture, styles and Indo-Saracenic. Colonial architecture shaped administrative and residential buildings from the 17th to early 20th centuries. Early structures used thick walls, arches, and verandas suited to tropical climates. Neoclassical, Gothic revival, and Indo-Saracenic styles emerged as British power grew. The Indo-Saracenic Madras High Court blended Islamic domes, Hindu motifs, and European structures. Colonial architecture, monuments and urban planning. The Victoria Memorial in Kolkata combined European symmetry with Mughal domes. Gothic revival appeared in railway stations like Mumbai's CST. Colonial architecture introduced systematic urban planning. It notably shaped modern Indian cityscapes, such as in New Delhi.